Abji, you've talked in the past about being a good person. So my question is about conscience. Often conscience seems quite a fickle thing, that it's guided more by social rules and education and tendencies. So my question is, do we have all the possibility of a more objective conscience that help guides us to know what's right and wrong and what's moral, that's more universal?
See, to be more simpler, conscience means it is you cannot lie to yourself. Anything that is inside that spontaneously comes. Just like I have told, when the divine appeared during the end of my tapas, Shiva Parvati, when they asked, due to your tapas we have manifested, you can ask any powers and you can get everything. But at that time, you cannot tell a lie. Whatever is inside you, that's what conscience is. So, I hope I am pronouncing properly conscience. And whatever it is there, it comes naturally and spontaneously because that manifestation is your own real self. So that's what is conscience here. So you always, that's why elders advise, listen to your conscience. So then you will listen to the truth actually. It may be very difficult to act upon in this world at all times. Sometimes for diplomatic reasons, for other reasons, you may have to keep quiet. But however, if you can listen to that, then you can become more purified. When you practice meditation, only then this purification can happen and you will be able to think of the right justice a priority. That's what Lord Krishna also taught in Mahabharata. At so many places, we can set a priority and try to see the justice. This is what my opinion about this.
Hi, Babaji. I just had a question. You said that like your guru was like a manifestation of Shiva. How did you know that like he was like how did you know that was true? And like what are the qualities of Shiva? Like how did you know that he was like a manifestation of God or whatever?
When the manifestation happened, they identified themselves. Like every time Swamiji used to manifest during my tapas, he used to identify, I am the divine guru. That's how after that, all in my courts and many other places, whenever I wanted to mention about Swamiji or Shiva Bala Yogi, my guru, most of the time I have mentioned about the divine guru. Even when I pray, I tell ki, may the divine guru bless you all, the divine guru will protect you, like that. So that's how I came to know. Otherwise, it was very dazed. Easily nothing would register in the mind. Mind was totally purified and blank like space. Quiet, totally. Instead of blank, I would like to use the word quiet, silence. That was how.
Pranam Babaji.
Yes.
Is it possible to experience emotions after becoming self-realized?
When you have done long tapas, means deeper meditation, so you are totally under your control. You are able to restrain yourself. So any emotions normally gets generated by the collusion of mind on the brain. The brain then reflects, watching the surroundings or this world or with its own imaginations. So all these things can be kept under control. Only if necessary you can show a little bit. And moreover, in some of self-realized master stories I have read that occasionally, for a deeper reason, a small emotion might occur, but they will control themselves very quickly. They won't allow themselves to go out of control. So that is how emotions can always be controlled, and it is under control when you are realized.
Nams Babaji. I wanted to ask Babaji, is there any point in trying to change the world before changing yourself? There's so many people involved in trying to change the world.
Of course, it is recommended that you change yourself first. Then you can try to change in a better way with more maturity. Because it's not easy to change the world. While trying to change the world means you want to teach the world better ways. At that time, you shall not lose patience and understanding, and finally, you have to accept whatever happens. So that's why it is recommended that you change yourself first. Then you learn first, you become matured. Like you become a self-realized soul, then you can guide the world in a much better way. You can insist for the truth of teaching. You won't be thinking just to attract people, masses. You won't be telling a lie, or you won't tell whatever to make them believe. You would like to tell the truth, though it might be in a diplomatic way, but at least you will tell the truth. So it is essential that you change yourself first.
Babaji, when we make a judgment like this is good, this is bad, why does that stay in the mind as an imprint? Babaji has always described that those judgments stay within the mind, but I just wanted to know, why does that happen? Why does it not just simply disappear after the thought has been there?
First thing, when we make a judgment, the doership, imagination, sits in the mind. Oh, I have judged, I am able to judge. So my own capacity, my own ability. So that makes the mind egoistic. Right? So that is how it is absorbed as an imprint and it sits there. Instead, a yogi never judges actually anybody. He will simply see the self and as the play of the self, a divine play. So while dealing with this world. So when you deal with this world in that way, then no imprints will be absorbed by the mind. For that you have to do long, deeper meditations of tapas.
Thank you, Baba.
Namaskar, Baba. My father passed away over a year ago, and I've had family members who passed and gone, but since he had passed, he's been a big part of my life. But to imagine, it only occurred to me since he passed away that I've been thinking so much about it's as he's like disappeared, and you have this feeling that the fact that he's just disappeared, that no trace of him, it comes to my mind, recurring to my mind, whether he even existed at all. That thought keeps coming to my mind because there's no trace of him left, and I can't imagine that he doesn't exist. So I'm just wondering what all this, making sense of the whole thing as if he never existed. That feeling comes.
You see, when your father was there, it was the physical body that you all would have recognized as your father. So because of that, it had been sitting in the mind with a firm conviction that this is the father. Through that body, the consciousness was operating. So it had imagined itself as that body, that personality, and as your father, it was all there. So once that body is gone, so now that is what, when Ramana Maharishi as an young boy, when one of his uncles had passed away, had told that why you are all crying? If this body was our uncle, so this body is here. Before the funeral, the body would have had been there. So you can keep that body. So if this body is dead and it is not your uncle, if your uncle was something else, about that we don't know. When we don't know about that, why should we cry for that about which we don't know anything? If we had known a certain thing, then we could have cried. So this is what generally happens to people of this world because of their operations. But if you meditate deeply, when your mind totally becomes purified and experiences that space of consciousness of existence, then what comes to be known? You see, the space is there everywhere. In that one body is operating as a person, and one day that body falls. But yogi knows that space is there. That space is nothing but supreme consciousness. So that has not gone anywhere. That was how a self-realized yogi would say, I am not going to go away anywhere. I am here, everywhere. Only my body will one day fall down. But if you all remember me, I will be there with you all always. Even Ramana Maharshi said this. Where am I going to go away? I am here and everywhere all the time. So that is the awareness of the real self that one can achieve through proper, long time, deeper meditations. So that is why we try to recommend people to pursue on this path. Always, whenever we get a chance, by answering the questions and by giving a small talk, we always recommend that you all practice meditation, set a priority. That must be the priority, because that is the one thing which can give you the knowledge, awareness of yourself, which is so important. Like in these times of calamities or anything, that when we lose a dear one, at that time that can give a consolation for us, a satisfaction that actually in truth your father is there only, with you only. But we had recognized your father as the body. That's why the missing happens. This happens to every ordinary human being or any creature. Only a yogi can recognize, can become aware that self is everywhere simply.
Thank you, Babaji.
When people have described the state after realization, some describe it as bliss. And we know that it's not bliss, it's a deep state of peace. But when one's describing it as just peace, it could be rather boring. do you know what I mean? There's a sense of the word peace that it could be taken as just like an absence of thought. So would there be a sense of fulfillment, a sense of completion, as opposed to just peace?
You see, often people misunderstand when they talk of dryness about the truth. That means they have not experienced the truth. They are imagining about the truth as something else based on their worldly experiences, and they are missing something, the actual peace. When the actual peace itself descends, then the taste, that peace. And when you lose that peace, when you are subjected to mental torture, mental unhappiness, then you understand the value of that peace. But you can become aware of the value of that peace really when you experience the peace. So when you experience the peace, then you will understand that you are not mad to go after that peace. Madly everybody is going after that peace only. Simply they don't know the right path and right way to recognize. They are trying to recognize in the objects of the world, and they are taking a wrong path. So that is why they are losing peace. They are not getting peace. That's why mind is also not stopping, because it is looking for the same peace which it had enjoyed by remaining in the self. That is the truth actually. It is not dry.
Could I just, when one's describing the state of realization to, say, a friend or a member of the public, is there another word one can add to peace to give them an idea that it's not just an absence of thought? You know, is it a sort of a joyous feeling of peace or a fulfilled?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I have been traveling around the world since 15-20 years. So different cultures have different words, terminologies to better understand the peace. Some places, some people might understand if we simply use the peace. At many other places, some places people understand when I use the word enjoyment, because to their imagination, anything it must be enjoyable, otherwise it is no use. Is peace enjoyable? So then they understand we use. Like, is peace a happiness? Is like that, different terminologies around the world. So for a while we can use to give a clue, but not too many deviations. Nearest clue we try to give so that they can understand it is not dry, it is enjoyable, I tell them. Ambaji has some comments to say on this. Please listen to her.
Sorry, Henry, I always interrupt whenever your question comes. But I get excited listening that.
Your questions are wonderful, that's why she likes it.
According to all the Indian scriptures, when we finish anything, when we come towards the culmination, we always say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti in the antariksha, in the space, Shanti onto the earth, Shanti in the water, Shanti to every being, every living creature. Why we say nowhere we say Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. We always say Shanti, because when it comes to the peace, then all, because peace is permanent, but bliss is not permanent. Bliss can turn to unhappiness, unblissful also and blissful also. So when it comes to the permanent, it can be only Shanti, because it never changes. It stays in the one and absolute. That was the beauty of being in the peace and being in the Ananda, because state of Ananda can be different stages, but not the peace.
Okay, so Babaji, this was sent in by chat. Somebody's typed this in. So on their behalf, they're asking, can Babaji please advise how to calm an agitated and angry mind, please?
It requires a lot of practice. Finally, if you practice meditation every day, like I have told, when the war gets declared on you, then if you try to learn weapon, how to use a weapon, so then the enemy will come, cut your head and go away. That's what happens. That is why spiritual exercises are prescribed and recommended to make it and practice like a way of life every day without fail. If you practice meditation, then when an anger or any such emotions occur, easily you can bring it down and keep it under control. Use it only wherever it is absolutely necessary for administrative purpose or in the battlefield, to like that. Otherwise, you won't be wasting your energy and you won't be harming anybody by getting into angry mood. If at all such an anger comes, try to divert attention of your mind by remembering. If it appeals to you, religious things, try to remember God's name, or any other thing, try to remember something else, or try to reason out, is this anger necessary now? I must not harm anybody else, and afterwards I might regret. That must not happen. Like that, if you start thinking, or sit in a corner quietly and count some numbers, numerical number, something to divert your mental attention. It might come, these anger and other things, only for a while, for a few seconds. In that small time, it can make you to do disastrous things. So you need to be careful. So if you see some reason, then it will come down and you can calm down, you can understand better. So like that you can overcome. Finally, meditation. That is my recommendation. That if you practice regularly, when there is peace also, don't tell that I don't need meditation, I am all right mentally. You never know when the mind will lose peace. So then only you will understand. So you need this meditation every day, so that always you can keep your temperaments under control.
My question is, you said once in everything is something inseparable, like the sweetness in a sugar or the picture in a thought. What is the inseparable of the watching?
Mind has two aspects. One is thinking, ability to think, another is ability to watch. When you achieve one of the thing 100%, it won't be able to do the other thing. Now here, thinking, that thinking process has gone out of control in the mind. So you are unable to stop those thinkings and thoughts that are coming. Millions and millions of thought process, one after another, are coming. Because of this, cravings happen and you lose happiness often. Unhappiness manifests and troubles you. Now to achieve this, you need to achieve self-awareness. To go back to self-awareness, you need to quieten the mind first. Then only the mind's attention goes back to itself, giving you self-awareness. So for this, you need to practice watching. So when you achieve the watching process, the quietness happens. So that is how the inseparable thing in the watching is quietness.
Is it the watcher? I see it this way, that at the moment we are the thinker. We always thinking and picturizing, and I have the ability now to become the watcher, just the watcher. No more thinking. I become the watcher. Is that the right terminology?
Yes. When you become the watcher, you will notice that you have become quiet. It is you who had been thinking all the time, picturizing, and by watching, you have stopped thinking and you are quiet now.
Yes, and just now following up, I notice now that even on daytime, I try to become this watcher. No more thinking. When I meet somebody, when I confront a situation, I'm just a watcher there, not anymore the thinker. Is that the right attitude to?
Yes. Yeah, slowly if you practice, then you will see that peace also is descending within yourself. You feel very at peace and composed, because you are not thinking, so you are not analyzing, and you are not making any judgment also. So thus you are becoming quiet.
That's it. I understand. Thank you, Babaji.
Every time I come to one of your sessions, like that, when you were in Hyderabad or when I met you in Austin, I come to your sessions like with a big list of questions. But when I sit with you, I can't seem to recollect any of the questions. Like my mind goes quiet. I feel like I can't seem to recollect the questions, or I don't feel that the questions are not important anymore. Like what is this effect of quieting of the mind? Like, I mean, I'm sure this is like this is your divinity that is acting on me. I just wanted to find out what that is.
Yes, same way, yogis, vibrations are getting transmitted in all directions when there is total faith and devotion. So the mind becomes receptive, your mind becomes receptive and becomes quiet. The same used to happen with our master Swamiji Shiva Bala Yogi also. Whenever he came, I used to be quiet and just wanted to watch him, that is all. So that served as a meditation eventually, a sadhana for me. So that is the reason it happens. So here faith and devotion itself can convert it as a meditation for you.
Basically this kind of quietness I usually get like when I sit for meditation for a long time, but like when I sit with you, it's instant. Like it's I am speaking to you, but generally I wouldn't even speak to you. I would just sit here with you generally. So this is incredible. I'm able to talk to you at least. Thank you so much, Babaji.
Namaste, Babaji. My question is on the witness, the watcher as well. And the question is the witness watcher a purer part of the mind? And at some point, do we have to surrender the witness as well in order to let go of being located in ourselves and become more expansive?
Yes. You have to, as long as you have that witness feeling also, a small iota of imagination is still there. So till then the awareness of the self doesn't happen. So you have to surrender that also. That means that you are witnessing something. There should not be any separation that you are watching something. This thought must go away. That is how you have to surrender. Then in the consciousness, attention automatically turns to itself. Then you become aware of the pure consciousness, that which is your real self. So that's how you have to surrender witness also.
And is that a process that naturally occurs, or is that through effort?
Yeah, it will naturally occur if you simply go on watching without trying to think that you are watching.
Somebody's actually come in with this question, they've typed it. Isn't the watching a process of thinking? If you don't think, how can you watch?
So now listen please to your question. You are standing in front of a river and you keep thinking, I need to jump, and you have not jumped. So that is when you are thinking that you have to jump. But if you simply jump into the river, you are not thinking anything. In the same way, if you simply keep thinking, I have to watch and I have to watch, one time you have to think, I have to watch, then you start watching, then you are not thinking anymore. When you are watching, if you are really watching perfectly, then you cannot think. Sometimes you would have experienced some beautiful scenario, a mountain or some greeneries, dumbfound it could make. So then you are unable to think. You just watch and get absorbed into that scene. In the same way here, you first, when you sit for meditation, you just resolve that you have to just watch and do nothing else, and then start doing. I have told movie dialogue, don't keep thinking, if you want to shoot, just shoot. Understand? Like that.
So my question is sadhana just like meditation in action? And if you do enough sadhana, can you just not do like the simple Jangama Dhyana meditation? Because I really struggle with meditation.
Meditating is the sadhana. Sadhana is a common word. Your efforts to achieve, that is what is sadhana. And meditation is a particular sadhana, particular thing, that by closing the eyes, you watch in between eyebrows. That is the Jangama Dhyana we have named and we tell. So that's what the difference is. Sadhana means synonymously with spirituality, any of your efforts, any type of your effort to quieten the mind or make it single pointed. That is the thing. Here, by meditating Jangama Dhyana, you are trying to become quiet on your own without any external anchor.
Thank you.
Baba has mentioned before that God has kept all the happiness for himself and hasn't left any in the world itself. Could Babaji explain that, please?
You see, even in Upanishads or Vedas, whatever is in your mind, it is the form of the mind only, ultimately. Because the mind was the raw material for the mind to produce those pictures, characters, stories that are in your mind. So in the same way, this universe is created by the imagination technology of the all-pervaded ultimate truth, one single self that exists. Now, when we talk of God has kept all happiness in himself, not in his world, because whatever has been created is impermanent. It appears and disappears. Everything has its own time limit. Because of its impermanent nature, it cannot give a permanent happiness at all. But the divine or the ultimate truth or the single self is permanent because it has not appeared. It was always there and it is going to be there. Indestructible, that is. So that is why happiness is in that truth, in that divinity, in that ultimate single self. That is how it is told, because this appearance is going to disappear. Human may have his own life limit, a mountain may have its own life limit, earth, sun, moon, everything have limits. It may go on for billion years or it may come to an end tomorrow. So anything can happen, but what is important is it is impermanent, not going to be there at all times. So that is how the happiness is in the self. You go back to yourself, giving up all imagination, then you have the permanent peace. Because mind is not going to stop into one imagination. It keeps jumping from one to another, one to another. So that is when it loses its peace. That is how it is recommended to go back to yourself.
Thank you, Babaji. Could I also ask, when Babaji was in the tapas, he was not satisfied with anything that God gives, but he wanted God itself. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, that's how Swamiji taught. My Guru used to tell, even if God appears and offers all that he can give, don't accept. Tell that you want God only, because happiness is in God, not in what he can give you. If he gives you anything other than himself here means not a man. It is the ultimate all-pervaded truth. It can give only a small portion, a small piece of itself. So that's when it cannot be giving happiness permanently. It will go away. So ask for God himself.
Could you explain what the Shiva Bala Yogi mantra means?
The mantra that I have told, Om Shivaya Shiva Bala Yogindraya Parabrahmanaya.
Yeah.
Lord Shiva, who came as a Shiva Bala Yogi, was none other than Parabrahman, the ultimate truth. That is the meaning Swamiji told once when I asked him.
How do you overcome resistance to sadhana, like service or something, and meditation? Like, I'm studying a course at uni about like helping people with their mental health, but sometimes I just completely resist like all my responsibilities and I avoid it and procrastinate. So do you have any advice for me?
Taking up responsibility and finishing that work will help to clear your accounts of karma. Like that, if you think, you will simply do it so that it gets finished. the more you resist, you may have to come back and undergo much more difficult times. Like that you think, then you would like to finish the responsibilities. Resistant to meditation also, think about the impermanence of this world, and the body also will go away soon. Every day we are going towards the death. The body is going towards the death. One day is deducted, another day is deducted. So like that if we think, then we would like to do. Just like I have told, when you realize there is a time bomb under your chair, you will go out of way to escape first. You won't be thinking, you won't be resisting, I don't want to get up. You won't be thinking any such thing. Your first immediate priority will be to save yourself from that time bomb. Like that you think there is a time bomb called heart. It is clicking, clicking, clicking. Anytime it can stop. So if you think that impermanent, then you won't waste time and you would like to meditate.